Iowa University faces legal scrutiny over DEI practices in Fox News video. A bombshell video has thrown Iowa's universities into chaos, and now state leaders are demanding answers. But here's where it gets controversial. A University of Iowa staff member was caught on camera openly discussing how her team sidestepped new state restrictions on diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. This revelation has ignited a firestorm of legal scrutiny and political debate, exposing tensions between institutional autonomy and state mandates. In a secretly recorded video published by Fox News, Andrea Tinoco, identified as the Assistant Director of UI Leadership and Student Organization Development, allegedly admitted her team removed DEI language from university websites to comply with Iowa's recent ban on state-funded DEI offices. "We're essentially finding ways to operate around it," she is heard saying, suggesting terms like civic engagement replaced DEI in public materials. Shockingly, Tinoco added, "We're still doing DEI work. I'm still going to say it." Governor Kim Reynolds, who signed the DEI restrictions into law earlier this year, called the comments appalling and filed a formal complaint with the Iowa Attorney General's office. The law, enacted July 1st, prohibits public universities from funding DEI offices unless required by federal law or accreditors. Reynolds argues the video reveals a potential violation of Iowa Code Section 261J.2, which enforces these restrictions. Here's the twist. The University of Iowa and the State Board of Regents aren't fighting the investigation, they're embracing it. UI President Barbara Wilson confirmed an internal probe is underway, vowing corrective actions if policies were breached. Regent David Barker went further, calling the video evidence of a Meanwhile, Board President Sherry Bates declared, "Following the law is not optional," pledging full cooperation with the Attorney General. But critics are asking tough questions. Was Tinoco's candid confession a justified act of civil disobedience or a blatant disregard for state law? The video's origins add fuel to the fire, filmed without clear consent and labeled undercover by Fox News, raising ethical concerns about media tactics. And this is the part most people miss. Iowa's DEI crackdown didn't start this year. The Board of Regents began dismantling DEI offices in 2023 under Reynolds' orders, yet Barker admits he did not have confidence universities would fully comply. Now, the Fox News clip seems to validate those fears, exposing a cultural divide. Should schools quietly preserve DEI values under new labels or strictly adhere to the letter of the law? Iowa Attorney General Brenna Bird, a Republican, has launched an investigation, emphasizing that universities must comply not only with state DEI laws, but also with a 2025 executive order signed by former President Donald Trump, a detail that could broaden the legal stakes. So where do you stand? Is this a case of bureaucratic overreach stifling progress, or a necessary check on taxpayer-funded activism? Could renaming programs truly circumvent the law, or does intent matter more than semantics? Share your take below. As the debate rages, one thing is clear. This battle over DEI isn't just about Iowa. It's a microcosm of a national culture war, and the outcome could set a precedent for how institutions navigate the clash between policy and principle. Iowa Board of Regents supports investigation into University of Iowa employees' DEI comments. The Iowa Board of Regents has taken a strong stance in support of an investigation into comments made by an employee at the University of Iowa regarding diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI. In a recent meeting held in Cedar Falls, Iowa, University President Dr. Barbara Wilson addressed a concerning video that featured one of her staff members openly discussing how they circumvent state laws related to DEI initiatives. This video, which was shared by Fox News, has sparked significant outrage and condemnation from various officials, including Dr. Wilson herself. Following the release of the video, Attorney General Brenna Bird initiated an investigation on Wednesday, prompted by an official complaint submitted by Governor Reynolds. This action underscores the seriousness of the situation and the commitment to uphold the law. Regent Sherry Bates expressed her disapproval of the behavior exhibited in the video, stating that adherence to the law is non-negotiable for all university staff. The Board of Regents has pledged its full support for the Attorney General's investigation and has committed to taking corrective measures to address what they have termed a very problematic situation. Dr. Wilson emphasized that trust in the university hinges on a steadfast dedication to complying with both state and federal laws. She stated, "If at any point we find the policies or laws are violated, we'll take the necessary corrective actions without hesitation." This statement reflects the institution's resolve to maintain integrity and accountability. In addition to addressing the investigation, the Board of Regents is set to convene a special meeting next month to further discuss their policies regarding DEI. During the same meeting, the Iowa Board of Regents also approved a new in-state tuition plan aimed at out-of-state students attending the University of Northern Iowa, UNI. This initiative is part of a broader strategy to make education more accessible. Last month, the board had already approved tuition hikes for out-of-state students at both Iowa and Iowa State universities. UNI has announced that it will finance this new tuition rate through its foundation, with plans to implement the changes starting this fall. This situation raises important questions about the balance between institutional policies and state laws. How should universities navigate the complexities of DEI while ensuring compliance with legal standards? What are your thoughts on the actions taken by the Iowa Board of Regents? Share your opinions in the comments below. Iowa governor slams university's DEI policy breach. Shocking allegations at Iowa. Is the university circumventing state law? A storm is brewing in Iowa, and it's catching the attention of educators, parents, and lawmakers alike. At the heart of this controversy is a Fox News video said to show a University of Iowa employee openly confessing to sidestepping newly established restrictions on diversity, equity, and inclusion DEI initiatives. But here's where things get even more heated. Viewers can't actually watch the video for themselves. The clip isn't accessible to the public. So what really happened, and what does it mean for both the university and the wider debate over DEI in higher education? Let's break it down for those new to the issue. In May 2024, Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds signed a bill banning state universities from funding or maintaining offices, meaning dedicated departments or staff, focused on DEI work. This legislation, known as Senate File 2435, applies to Iowa's three public universities: the University of Iowa, the University of Northern Iowa, and Iowa State University. The law also says these universities can't hire anyone whose job is solely related to DEI, nor can they require job applicants to write statements promising to support DEI values. Fast forward to July 29, 2025. Fox News posts a video with the dramatic headline, "University of Iowa official brags about skirting a ban on DEI." Although the video is watermarked with the university logo and dated July 2, 2025, the individual shown isn't named, and it's unclear whether that person knew they were being recorded. It's also important to note that the video remains inaccessible, raising questions about transparency and journalistic integrity. Governor Reynolds didn't hold back. In a public statement, she described her reaction as appalled and outlined her immediate plan to refer the matter to Iowa's Attorney General, Brenna Bird. Reynolds emphasized that she had already urged university officials to comply with both the state law and an executive order from President Trump, issued on January 22, 2025, that also prohibits DEI efforts at public institutions. The governor called the alleged statements a blatant disregard for the law and the will of the legislature, insisting such behavior is intolerable. And here's the part most people miss. Reynolds' complaint suggests that if it's true, the University of Iowa is still maintaining a DEI office or assigning DEI-related tasks to staff. It would not only be a violation of the new law, but might also reflect a broader cultural resistance to legislative oversight in academia, a point certain to spark debate. Within hours, Attorney General Bird confirmed that her office had opened an investigation. She made it clear. Iowa's public universities are required to obey state laws and executive orders alike. The Iowa Board of Regents, the governing body that oversees these colleges, isn't standing on the sidelines. During a special virtual meeting, Board President Sherry Bates denounced the video as unacceptable and underlined that working around the law is not allowed. The board pledged full cooperation with the Attorney General and said it would take swift action to address the situation if misconduct was confirmed. Bates also hinted at a larger ongoing conflict. The board recently delayed voting on a new policy that would further restrict the teaching of DEI and critical race theory, CRT. Why? She said more feedback and a comprehensive plan are needed, admitting that opinions are sharply divided on the issue. Even among stakeholders, the controversy doesn't stop at administrators. University of Iowa President Barbara Wilson also addressed the situation. She assured the public that the university is treating the allegations with utmost seriousness, has already commenced an internal investigation, and will fully cooperate with both the Board of Regents and the Attorney General's office. Wilson reaffirmed the university's commitment to state and federal laws, transparency, and integrity. If the investigation finds any policies or laws have been broken, she vowed immediate corrective action. For those who think this is just an internal squabble, Representative Taylor Collins, who oversees the House Committee on Higher Education, warned that this case reveals how deeply DEI philosophies are embedded within Iowa's universities. He criticized what he sees as a lack of oversight from the Board of Regents, and said the House Committee is ready to step in if more dramatic action is needed to rid our universities of ideologically driven programs. But now for a controversial twist. Some argue these crackdowns threaten academic freedom and the rich exchange of ideas that universities are supposed to foster. Others believe such laws are necessary to keep higher education neutral and focused on its core mission. Where do you stand? Do you think universities are justified in looking for ways to keep DEI values alive, even after such laws? Or should they be held strictly to the letter of the law? No exceptions. Let's hear your thoughts. Is this law protecting or hindering Iowa's students and universities? Are these investigations a show of accountability or evidence of overreach? Jump into the discussion and share your perspectives below. The conversation about how and whether DEI should exist in public universities is only just beginning.